Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at the best action player in the US server, Phantasm. So he starts with a early game cheese, he walks bot lane and expects Thresh to get a hook off, so they may get some sums out of the enemy bot laners. Oh, it seems like we already got their heal and barrier, which seems to be a really good thing, and Caitlyn is chunked to half HP. That's insane. Now, what do you lose out of this as Akshan into a weak melee opponent like Zed? Nothing. You still get every single last hit, you still get to have lane priority in lane, so as you guys can visually see, you literally lose out nothing on this, not even the push. We are level 5 currently, and this is where the game starts to be more interactive. So Pantheon is actually topside and Nidalee is doing his best to invade him. Now what happens is Akshan is actually following up this play. And once he steps up, he will be able to look for opportunities, because for now he does have his ignite, he does have his flash, so he could go for some really nice outplays. Seems like Shyvana full sensei. Oh, they don't quite manage to pick him up, but maybe he can cook. Now let him cook. Lost a bit of vision. Insane flash, just so he gets a better E angle. Nice, extremely well played, and disengages from that. Insanely well played, gets the bonus bounty from his W, and as you can see, he is a mechanical genius. And as we can see, his first purchase is plated steel caps and a pickaxe, but he noticed that Zed gave up his W, so he has no escape. And once he spots that Zed oversteps, he's looking to punish it. Seemingly they force out his flash, which seems to be a really good thing. And his plated steel caps has a very high value, just because they are full AD. Exception, of course, this Shyvana could go AP, so yes, that could be labeled as an AP champion. Now, as things progress, he's actually aiming to go for a nice roam. He picks up the lantern and he will arrive ASAP in bot lane, where we can see the Caitlyn is overstepping with no sums. And let's see if she has a way of escaping, but I believe he's cooked. Thrashy hook. Thrashy good. Nice, they even get the heal out. And what does he lose mid lane for this roam? Particularly, he does lose something, so we can't say he does not lose any CS, but observe how much minions does he lose. He loses actually, particularly I would say 4 minions, right, if you're most accurate, but that's totally worth for picking up that Caitlyn kill, because Caitlyn Senna is one of their biggest win conditions, so setting them behind for that, it's totally worth. Go for that roam, guys. It's 100% gonna be worth your time. And as you can see, he's doing his best to again get what? Lane priority, because Drake is up, he can rotate for it. Or he could also look for different opportunities. If Thresh is hitting a hook into Pantheon, he may follow it up, right? So he does actually make opportunities by shopping the wave in. So think about it, if you have opportunities, you should always look to shove. Just so you can take them. Seemingly they want to invade the blue. It's an interesting take. So they want to invade the blue, but seemingly it's not up yet. And alternatively they could also go top lane, because Shyvana is rather low on HP. Takes full send it into Shiv. Now could this go wrong by chance? Not really, right? Not really. He's actually waiting for Zed to show up mid lane. Pantheon Nord exactly now. So he was waiting for at least Zed to show up mid lane, because even if Pantheon is alone there, he cannot solo him. They need at least 2 people, so that was the reason why he actually waited and expected Zed to show up mid, so he can safely walk in. Seems like he's a little bit chunked though, so he might be all in by Zed's hour. Problem is this guy doesn't have ignite on Zed, which makes it a bit harder. Zed is getting hooked, but it's tough for him to take the lantern, because he could get killed actually. It's a bit of a bait lantern. Sometimes it just takes some knowledge to know when to actually not take those. And as you can see, he's just weaving the wave in quite nicely. The goal is very simple, to shove in the wave and get a nice recall, but the problem is it's really difficult to do so. So it's just going invisible and looking for opportunities either to roam on the Pantheon, or it seems like he does get a good opportunity. No, sorry for that one, guys. Does that kill? No, but Nidalee does. Extremely well played on Nidalee's part. And it seems like we are good to go. We are good to go. Now, simple as that, you could even try to force a dive into this guy if you can play your moves out well, because he's quite low on HP, but he prefers to actually just play it out safe and just shove, which is totally fine. But as we can see, what Phantasm is also really good at, he shoves in the wave, right? And he's also looking top lane for opportunities, which we can see Shyvana is pretty low, Senna is getting chunked pretty hard, and Nidalee is also stepping up for a dive. So what he ideally does, he does have his ultimate up, and he wants to actually show up to form their top laner. Does seem like Nidalee didn't connect the spear yet, he's not revealing his presence unless he gets a good all-in. Seems like it missed, that's a bit unfortunate. But let's see what we can cook, right? Let's see what we can cook here. Sends in his door, sends his in. It doesn't seem like... Oh no, he actually did manage to get a nice reset. And another Shyvana kill. But this champion seems to be really broken in the hands of Phantasm. It's not, of course, it's not only about the champion, I think it's about the player as well here. Because if you see anyone else playing Akshan, you would just not... it would just not be on the same skill level, let's just say so. Now, at this point of the game, he does have his BF sword, the upgraded version of plated steel caps, which is just insane combined with his shield. Those are two really nice shields to have. Plus the armor is just insane from the item. And what he does for now is that Aphelios is covering mid lane and he's on the side lane. And for now he's looking for opportunities to kill squishy champs like Caitlyn. So he primarily wants to rotate into Caitlyn, not Shyvana, because Shyvana itself is a bit harder to pick up compared to the Cait. He's even waiting for his Nidalee to show up so she gets the assist as well, and then she does actually commit for the kill. It's interesting because it would be nice to see one time him building Habris. I'm not sure how OP, how good that is on Akshan, but I would say there is like a world where that could cook if he drops so many kills, right? But without Collector it's also like arguably a bit harder to get those kills, right? So there are really downsides of getting that, of course. 2 control wards, that's something new actually. And an agility dog, okay. I don't know about control wards because it feels like you also give them ideas on like what to build against you, if it makes sense. So I would say that's like one of the common downsides of getting, you know, control wards on Akshan and Evelyn, you know. Seems like he's just hunting for free kills, so never go for the kill that's difficult to kill like Pantheon or Zed. He's just going for free kills like Senna, Caitlyn. So every time he notices someone on the side lane being isolated or alone in general, he's just actually like looking to get a pick on them. He's tracking every single champion that's killable in the enemy team, and he's aiming just to like pick them up. He plays an ADC just like an assassin. I mean, actually it's kind of a assassin AD carry, to be honest. I would say like primarily ADC, secondary assassin, if it makes sense. Because he's also really short range and he kind of functions like an assassin essentially. But okay. Same thing. Sees Caitlyn isolated. Doesn't quite pick her up. I think he was a bit unsure. It was a bit tough to engage into her right due to her E, and she could have potentially like a Pantheon or some type of follow-up could show up actually. So I think he was concerned about that. Zed still could be killed. Takes a bit more game knowledge skill to kill a Zed than a Caitlyn, I would say so, but definitely it's possible. He's waiting for Zed to give up his abilities, and once he gives up his W, I think that's what he's fishing for. Zed will be an easy prey, but it seems like this Zed is not particularly giving up his W anytime soon. So he just prefers to give up his Q and rotate away. So every time you press your W, you are looking for an opportunity. Don't take the opportunity, take the best opportunities though. Sometimes you want to wait until they throw out their wave clearing abilities, and once they do that, that's where you actually get to engage on them. Because sometimes Zed does not give you a weakness window if his W is up, if it makes sense. So the weakness window you are fishing for is when the Zed's W is on cooldown, and that's where you could say, yeah, sure, dude, his thing is on cooldown, now I could commit. So you gotta clearly play like a assassin actually. As so much as an ADC, You are not a front to back, whatever ADC. You're more of a assassin, if I think about it. And as I said, look at his flanks. His teammates are fighting around, and the enemy Senna and Caitlyn is stepping up. And once they give up their abilities, once they're in a very safe spot to be all in, he's actually committing. And as we can see, just the flank itself was enough to kill them. So you gotta quite often flank them, because they can't even use them the same projectiles against you and your team. So for example, if they have a Nami, or Shyvana in this case has a wide ultimate that would fear your whole team, because you're flanking from behind, they are not able to like CC you off, you know. Yet again, he's defaulting to side laning, so he is finishing his IE soon. He still needs a little bit of time for that, and ideally, he wants to like split the enemy team up in some way, because most of the times he does manage to disengage from anything that they throw at him with his E. So he kind of like prefers to split them up a little bit in the favor of Nidalee as well, for his favor as well, so he can actually like get more easily picks, or just, you know, get plate value while the enemy team is ARAMing for no reason. So they have to send out someone for him. The problem is that guy could also most likely get dived, because as I said, even if Pantheon are in, he gets to E out really cleanly from his part, so he can escape most of the collapses actually. That's an important thing to learn. He can escape most of the times. And he can also push really quickly, so his passive is a double basic attack mechanic that he has here, which allows him to push really quickly towers. So just by side laning gives him really good opportunities. So remember, let your ADC sit mid and go to the side lane, get better opportunities. You like it. You'll have to learn how to side lane, when to side lane. That's like a skill you have to learn how to fight, which means, you know, mechanically, right? Micro wise, but when to fight is the macro side of the game, which you also have to really learn. Because these are like two different things, but if you know how to do them in a good rhythm, you will be just insane. Pretty good, not insane, you know, like not insane, but I think you guys got my point. Also for Zed, it's very hard to assassinate him actually, just because of his plated seal caps. Like, I'm not even kidding, if you have plated seal caps, you're a tank. You're an assassin counter, honestly. That's the funny thing, guys. It's really hard for them. Look at Caitlyn's damage, for example, right? Like, she couldn't even basic attack. And that's lethal. That's a really well timed ultimate. If he does it later than this, the tower would actually soak the shots and he would not be able to like get it. So remember, when you watch Phantasm, compare it in a healthy way to your gameplay and ask yourself, would you ult in this case scenario before he does? And if you observe that he ults and he gets more kills that way by throwing only 3 shots out when people are low, that looks really buggy. And you can just do some heinous measuring. Where you could just tell what could you do better. Our next item is a really good Noon Quiver. You know, we already got Infinity at 70% crit chance, and now his Zard does a fat amount of damage actually, 283 when people are low. He got the Drake as well, soon we are at Soul Point, we just need one more Drake actually. And what's really important to understand is that he uses his R to initiate here. He thought that, I assume Nidalee would engage, but she messed it up slightly. Often, like, with an engager in mind, you can R early, because they will quite often, like, stomp their HP bar to the point where you're gonna get more damage value once they are lower. Is that a bug, or is that just like a visual thingy? This looks so weird when he, like, eats the wall and he moves around. Looks very uncanny. And that's my boy, Phantasm. Extremely well played on his part. GG, well played. You know, despite that, it looks like GG. They had some attempts from the enemy team, but they couldn't stop the solo queue god. Yep. Good game, well played. And if you like the video, Please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more educational content. See you guys in the next one.